WAGMI Fam, Crypto Addict here to share my secret gem on getting drops. This video was one that everyone wanted to see, and I'll admit I was very hesitant to share it. I wanted to keep my chances high for the wall drop, but I had to do it for the community and all the Omi homies. I want to throw out that this does not guarantee you will get every single drop, but it will help increase your odds, hopefully. You will need to be able to adapt to certain situations, and a lot of these you gain with experience. I've been in the game for a long time and I have a lot of experience with things like sneaker drops, so I'm able to quickly think based on certain scenarios. I will try to explain certain ones and how I kind of react to these as well. To start off, I'll go ahead and list what you'll need. If you've watched other videos from maybe other YouTubers, many have recommended that you purchase like an Ethernet adapter. These do help, but I recommend you use one with a USB port. The one I use is this adapter from Uni, and it's a hub that has the RJ45 Ethernet that you need along with USB ports. I'll go ahead and also leave a link in the description to where you can purchase this particular adapter. This is for Android since I use an Android. So why this one? Well, you want the quickest speed possible, and this one gives you that 1 gigabyte per second speed here. You also want to be able to connect a mouse. Yes, these smartphones let you connect a mouse. So I found that this is actually the most effective way to click and precisely click. I've tried other connections like a controller, but the mouse is actually king in my opinion. The mouse I recommend should have a back button as well. This helps in case you need to quickly go back. The one in the video is the SteelSeries Rival 310. I'm a gamer and this mouse is actually overkill for just clicking, but I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description for this mouse as well. So let's get to the setup. I link up my Ethernet to the hub and connect it to my phone or tablet. I then connect the mouse to the hub or adapter. So from this video clip, you can see that I have the adapter linked to my tablet. Now in this clip, I'm actually trying to get the Disney drop, The Simpsons. This one was buggy and we all experienced issues. The key is to get in early. VEVE actually has some great tips on how you can set up your devices and live streams these drops. So shout out to VEVE because the man always remains calm and gives live feedback and advice with great tips on the fly. As stated earlier, you'll need to be able to adapt when certain situations happen, and I respect the man for always doing so and providing great tips live as well. Personally, do not screen record because in this game, you need every competitive edge. It's a game of split seconds. I go ahead and I restart my devices and go into airplane mode. Be sure that things such as Bluetooth is disabled. I then load the app on my device. I don't go straight to the drop page. I navigate around all the tabs first. I want to make sure my app caches all the pages. This helps with quicker loads in the future. I know people say to clear your cache, but I think that slows downloading. Similar to browsing a web site, after you visit it the first time, the second time you load it, it loads much faster. That's because you've already downloaded the images on a page, so it pulls up much quicker. I navigate around the app to ensure that my pages will pull up quickly. The less you have to download while the server is overloaded, the faster it will load. Now I go to the page where I'll get the drop. In this case, it was a blind box, so we're going straight to the countdown page. As shown by many creators prior, you want to click in the blank space between the description and the notify me. This is when a mouse actually helps because you'll be able to precisely place your mouse in that space where you won't accidentally click the notify me or the arrow to extend that description. You can now safely spam the mouse without worrying about accidentally clicking on something or misclicking, and this will help speed up your chances of actually selecting the buy button ahead of time. But before we actually get to that, we actually want to get you the lowest countdown timer possible. I know a lot of people like to compare to like their computer clock or some type of countdown, but I like to compare it to a device that I have right next to me. I start early, usually 10 or 15 minutes. I do my first comparison to make sure I have the lowest time. I start off comparing the Note and my cell phone. I will refresh the timer that is slower until it is faster. Then I'll refresh the other device until it is quicker than the one I just refreshed. So let's say my cell phone is counting down just a split second faster. I then will refresh the note until that is now a fraction of a second faster. When I feel like I have a good timer, I'll stop. So in this video, I had a good timer and realized one of my devices was loading slow. So my thought already was the servers are getting overloaded. I refreshed a couple times to make sure it had a clean refresh and the time was even with my other device. It started to load my other phone. By this time, it was already a lost cause. The phone I was trying to load was pretty much logged out and there was no way for me to get in. I was one device out now, but that was fine. I still had 2 devices to try to get the drop on. Now typically I'd refresh the counter at like the 5-minute mark and again around the 2-minute mark. If the server is smooth, I'll do it again within the 1-minute mark to try to get the lowest timer possible. Since this drop was not allowing me to connect on my 3rd device, I stopped refreshing and I went with the time I already had. I did not refresh at the 5-minute mark or the 2-minute mark this time. This countdown was one I was already comfortable with since I knew I had an early timer when I was refreshing earlier. Now if I was able to connect my 3rd device and it was running smooth, I would have been comfortable refreshing the countdown on the 2 devices before. So how do I refresh the page? Well, on these pages you do not have to go back and reload the page. You actually can simply swipe down on that existing page to refresh it. So from this launch, you can see I have my mouse in the space and lined up to click. I spam click that spot and you can see how much sooner the mouse was able to click the buy over my fat fingers on my cell phone. This launch, I knew I was having issues because my 3rd device was still unable to get in and it was extra laggy. Since I was not able to get the lowest timer due to lag, it was hard to nail the drop on the first click. This is when you adapt. I knew other people would be having the same issue, so you continue to spam the mouse. With the mouse, you want to line up the buy button with where the pop-up would be, where you would press OK. This way you can spam one spot to buy and select OK at the same time and continue to cycle it. You can see I was able to get one right after. You also do not stop there. Rebounds are where you can snag a lot of extra drops. You continue to spam. Typically around 90 seconds after launch, the failed transactions are available for rebound. Here you can see how quickly the mouse was able to spam and capture one of these. Now the next clip, for those that do not have the adapter, you can see I was able to get a rebound on my phone with no adapter and just simply tapping. It is possible to get rebounds if you are persistent. If I'm tapping without a mouse, I usually use the 2-finger technique. Instead of spamming tapping with 1 finger, I'll use my index finger and my middle finger for this technique. If you've ever played a tapping game on your mobile device, you'll know how many more taps you can get out of 2 fingers versus just 1. Not parental advice, but gaming is what taught me everything I know. How I got involved in crypto in 2013, how I learned to adapt, understand this whole meta world, how I take advantage of every split second, and how I learned to, in this case, tap fast. Let your children game. Also, don't use 2 hands with both index fingers when tapping. You may press before you actually release the other finger and it won't register. Use your index and middle finger because you'll alternate fingers much more quickly. Now there are situations when the buy button will also turn into sold out or it'll kick you out. This is when preloading pages helps. Here is a quick clip of being able to use the back button on the mouse and immediately going right back in and clicking the buy button. Your mouse placement is critical in this case because you want to be able to click on the drop and right on the buy when it loads. The back button saves you time from having to reach to the back button on the top left of the screen and getting right back in. Again, this is a game when fractions of a second matter, so using the back button on the mouse will save you much more time. As you can see from this clip, I'm actually using the back button, so I'm not having to physically reach out and push the back button on my phone. Well, I hope these tips were helpful. I may end up missing out on a bunch more drops now, but let's hope more of us are eating now. If you guys enjoyed this video and would like to see more like this, let us know guys. Please like and subscribe to show the channel some love. We're still doing a giveaway. I'll link the video to that below. Thanks for tuning in. We're all gonna make it. Crypto Addict out.